Hi, it's Dan. I kind of fucked up cleaning out my hard drive while editing, and I ended up losing my local recording for this. Uh, I have the Craig backup, but the Craig backup sounds a little fucky and weird, so I'm just gonna be sounding like that the whole time. Please bear with it. My humblest apologies. And I hope you enjoyed the episode. Bye. Hello, listeners, and welcome to
The Sonic Shuffle, a random and holistic Sonic lore podcast.
I am Dan, the teacher.
I'm Morg, one of the students.
And I'm Devon, the other student.
We are talking about Sonic Boom again.
Boom, baby!
Boom!
Yeah, Boom, baby. Uh, Though, before we go into it, I do want to go into a new variety of news segment, which is Ken Penders updates.
Uh-oh.
Oh boy.
So, we all know about Ken Penders, famous Sonic comics writer who won a lawsuit that let him keep his characters, which, fair enough, I guess. But also, this fucked over the continuity. They had to reboot it twice. And also, he can't really use his characters because they're all from a Sonic comic. However, despite everything, he is hard at work on the Lara Sue Chronicles, a comic he intends to publish at some point in time. Although, he is putting it off a lot. In fact, very recently, he announced
That he would be constructing a language for the echidnas to speak.
that could be peppered in throughout the dialogue.
Oh my god.
And
Why is this dude obsessed with Knuckles lore?
And
And they're
also,
echidnas. They speak
Yeah.
echidna. What the fuck?
also more specifically, he wants to include an echidna translation whenever he publishes it digitally.
Kikaku means plan.
This man thinks he's Tolkien.
Yes.
Literally, I wouldn't be surprised if he, thought of the echidnas as, people think of Tolkien elves. Because they're, kind of, they're kind of otherworldly. They're kind of, somewhat, I don't know if the word would be, fetishized for their nativeness. There's stuff there.
Yeah.
I feel like there's a more apt comparison than you'd expect.
I mean, I wouldn't say it's off in some ways and on in others.
Yeah, for sure. It's not exact.
Yeah.
I will say his version of the echidnas I feel like there's got to be some old comic where that would make an apt comparison. Maybe I'm just gonna say this, and you're probably not gonna recognize it, but I'm only saying it because it's a Jack Kirby comic that involved an apocalypse and anthropomorphic animals. It's like Commandi.
Oh.
Uh,
I don't
yeah.
know this one.
So glad
Yeah.
we're getting so much Knuckles lore.
Yeah. Let's see. Also, an important thing to note: Knuckles himself cannot be in the Lara Sue Chronicles. It is exclusively about
characters Penders himself made, like Lara Sue and Joffrey.
No. They're saying it's the Game of Thrones of Sonic.
Yeah.
I looked up Laura Sue Chronicles.
Oh, you saw his art, huh?
That's his art?
Yes. This is what it looks like.
It's like kind of uncanny valley stuff.
Oh, I gotta see
Extremely.
this. Yo. What is
Why does it
going
look like
on
that?
here? What is going on? Ken Penders, my man.
Yeah. It sure does look like that.
It sure does look like that.
They're like weirdly human looking, kinda.
Yeah.
like, I know they're, like, one thing about it that is, like, an actual fact is that they're supposed to be weird aliens.
They
But
sure look like it.
Uh-huh.
I'm gonna say, in a weird way, it reminds me of, like old TV shows trying to make alien people by, like, putting animal-like alien people by, like, making or, like, coloring noses black and, like, putting on accessories and stuff on people.
Oh yeah, it's very Star Trek alien.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
Rubber
very much
suit
looking at
alien. It just reminds me of like DeviantArt in like a bad way. Like there's DeviantArt in a good way and there's DeviantArt in a bad way, and this is absolutely
Yeah.
in the second category, the bad way.
I will actually be incredibly fine if Ken Penders makes this, only if he releases it as a very, very shittily animated CGI movie. Because that's what the art style looks like. No offense.
No, he
Oh
wouldn't
my
want to do
God.
that.
No offense, Ken
But I'm-
Penders, but
You should offend him. I think he sucks.
Oh yeah, he sucks shit. What I want is a motion comic where they're tweening around.
Oh my god. It just looks so weird. This is like baby's first how to draw anime book.
Yes.
They have that like eye sparkle. Like, oh man.
So now our audience is informed on the Larsu Chronicles, and hopefully, if Ken Penders makes any more bad posts in the future, which he probably will, we can just bring those up for news segments. In the meantime, though, we are talking about Sonic Boom: Rise of Lyric. We've changed things up a little. Instead of using Clement J64's Let's Play, we are using an uncommented playthrough. This is mostly just so I have a better idea of how much needs to be watched and how much can just be skipped. There's this playthrough. I will say, FC playthroughs, I commend your dedication to playing through Sonic Boom: Rise of Lyric in one sitting.
Yeah, what the fuck?
I gotta say, this game feels like a lot more boring when someone isn't constantly talking over it. So I commend them for like staying awake.
Yeah.
It definitely has some like interesting parts to it, but I would say it's not a great game.
It just feels
Yeah.
like the in-betweens of like boss phases and all that are just
Mhm.
kind of like you just wander around and you see a coin and you grab it, but it's never like it never feels too exciting.
Mhm.
Yeah. It's like I don't know, it feels it's like I mean, this isn't too far off given what it is, but it's like a licensed movie game.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's honestly what it
you know
feels
what?
like. And like,
This made.
go ahead.
Sorry, you go ahead, Morg.
I was gonna say like, yeah, like the old ones. I know like people have commended more recent like movie games, but like the old ones before we were like, when everyone was like, "There's no good movie game" or whatever.
Yeah.
I was
Which
just gonna.
obviously means they've never played the SpongeBob movie game, obviously. But whatever. Yeah. Go
I
ahead.
was just gonna say, like, it may just because I'm like brain poisoned and I've been listening to too much Shrieking Shack. But like the section where this is skipping ahead, but where Lyric chases Sonic on like the water and he's like threatening him, I'm just kind of like, this feels like Voldemort threatening Harry and the fact that it's completely useless. And then I'm sitting here, I'm like, this entire game kind of feels like Harry lost in the woods. Like they're all just kind of wandering around until they see an object and they're like, hey, there's object.
Can't wait
Maybe
for
that's
Sonic to go to fucking purgatory and talk to God.
You know, he
maybe
might.
Oh, I'm trying to think. Like, there is definitely purgatory equivalents in possibly multiple Sonic games.
Oh,
God, I can't believe J.K. Rowling ripped off Sonic Boom Rise of Lyric.
Yeah,
No.
This
I
has
can't
to
believe
stop.
she got away with it.
This has to stop.
Yeah.
I mean,
When will she be punished?
there's purgatory in Mario, so there's got to be purgatory in Sonic.
Yeah, there is purgatory in Mario.
I don't know which purgatory you're thinking of, but I'm thinking of the one in Super Paper Mario where he can go to heaven and hell.
Yeah, that's the one I'm thinking of.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
What a good game.
Incredible game.
Yeah, Sonic Boom is an incredible game.
This is a little bit of a tangent, but my friends Maxie and John, they have had a years-long contention over whether or not Super Paper Mario is a good game.
Well, obviously, whoever said it was good is right.
Right.
Yes, I'm one of those people that group it in with the first three Paper Mario. I'm saying the first three Paper Marios are good games. They're different.
Mm-hmm.
I think Super Paper Mario isn't a Paper Mario in the normal way, but I think it's a good game.
Yeah. All right. So, we open up with Sonic and friends, the gang, in back in Cliff's excavation site. Incidentally, this playthrough lists off all the names of the areas, which is helpful.
How do the areas look very similar? At least, like, I've noticed between playthroughs.
They all just kind of look like ruins.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's mostly ruins.
It's a very,
the only-
like, Angel Island ruins from, like, Adventure 1 and 2 or whatever.
Yeah. Let's see. They do a side quest. They get this dog nurse, Nurse Ginger, some plants for sick people at the site. They run back into Quincy from before, who tells them that Cliff is looking for them. They do a speed section, and there's like loops on railroad tracks. They run into Cliff, and Cliff has gotten an ancient airplane. Apparently, it's been buried since ancient times.
A very specific time of ancient times. It just kind of looks like what Sonic, like a Tails plane. It just kind of looks like some of Tails' planes.
Yeah.
His normal.
Well, of course, airplane technology has remained the same for thousands of years.
Oh yeah, for sure. That's why we still crash all the time.
Yes, for sure, for sure.
I'm now thinking it would be extremely funny if they had like a Final Fantasy airship.
Ooh.
Give them the Meta Knight airship.
Give
the
them the
Mario.
Meta Knight airship.
Wait, I got the name wrong. It's the Halberd.
Yeah.
Yeah, the Halberd. I couldn't remember the name.
Meta Knight
but
should
yes.
just kind of invade more video games. Like, for no reason, Meta Knight should just be there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They get on this plane to their next destination, which is across an ocean. And Tails and Cliff are co-piloting the plane. Sonic rides on top like he usually does. And Knuckles or Amy are just hanging onto the wings.
Knuckles and Amy are hanging on for dear life as Sonic surfs on an airplane.
Mm-hmm. When they get to this island, which is named Bygone Island, according to the playthrough notes, everyone jumps off except for Cliff, who just continues flying, I guess. This new area is Bygone Island, and they start off going to this village, and this village is like actually like lore relevant to the show. It's the one that the show is usually set in, or like half the scenes are there.
It's weird it takes so long to get there, and then it's like the main area of the show.
Yeah, it's also completely abandoned, and except for like 2 or 3 people.
That's what I'm talking about. This game feels so weirdly desolate.
Yeah, it definitely does, and not in a way like it's supposed to. Like,
because
I'm
like
sure there's better comparisons than this, but like I think of like a game that is supposed to be desolate is like Breath of the Wild, where you're like in a big open world where like a lot of people are just fucking dead. But like this feels, I don't know, it feels like it's trying to do that, but it like does it in a very weird way.
Yeah.
Because it's just kind of like the atmosphere of it never changes. Like, they get there and they don't really comment on the fact they're like, oh, everyone's gone. They're just kind of like, okay, we're just running through the city again.
Yeah.
And it's like, do you guys not notice this town is like deserted except for like 2 people?
Mhm.
Like a mayor.
Yeah, except for a politician, which they love to remark upon.
Yeah, this is Filbo Fiddlepie from Bug Snacks. But also, like, I am not kidding when I say it's from the show. Like when I watch the clips, like, this whole thing was just lifted from the show set. Like, there's a whole bunch of stuff that's just in the backgrounds of the show. It was a little uncanny.
I keep thinking that this came before the show.
I think this came before. Maybe the show lifted from this?
Did it come as like tandem? Like they came out around the same time?
I think it all came at the same time. Yeah, but anyways, they get to meet the mayor of this town, E. Pluribus Fink, Esquire, of the what did they call Rodents United?
Yeah, I couldn't remember the whole name because it was just like Goofy McGoofyton of the Funny Land.
Yeah.
I feel like all politicians have this big long name.
Yeah, he's just sort of like a cartoon politician. He's corrupt. He's obsessed with getting reelected. he's largely ineffectual unless he wants something.
Yeah, I said this in chat, like, I feel like we've all just decided, like, politicians suck shit, and yet they're still here.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
this is like they all comment about like how much they hate him and how much they think he sucks, and then they decide to help him anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm like, well, I guess this is why am I expecting a materialist like read of Sonic?
Give me
so
Antifa Sonic.
holy shit. And then he says, no blue lives matter.
He says, I am the only blue life that matters.
Yeah. See. Yeah, so they just sort of agreed to like spend money upgrading the town to fully functional. Which I feel like in a better game I would be much more interested in.
Because
very-
maybe it would have people in it. This town feels
Yeah.
so dead.
It feels like those like Fallout games you like. That I feel like you like build shit in those, don't you? Like that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you do in like 4.
Yeah.
Actually, now I'm thinking about Bug Snacks again, where you
Yeah.
gradually build the town back to its former glory by finding everyone who lived there.
Oh man, I've never played
You see?
Snacks, but it sounds way more fun.
I hate to keep making fun of this game, but I will because it's my right. It's just
Yeah.
like they're just scenes where they're like, oh, Lyric is attacking, all the townspeople are gone, and then the scenes just like continue into a puzzle phase where nothing happens, and I'm like, is he attacking? I don't really know. Nothing feels like it's going on.
Yeah, I feel like
Yeah.
making fun of a Sonic game is just kind of old hat at this point, but it's like
Definitely.
But I'm gonna do it.
I'm trying to find something enjoyable in a game that's like ostensibly it was for like Wii U, so it's like not that old. And still it feels
Yeah.
like
It just feels so like
weirdly
unpolished.
old. Yeah.
Oh yeah, exactly. I have not a doubt in my mind that this was rushed for like a timed release.
Oh, most definitely.
Let me look at this. On their way out of the village, they. Oh, by the way, this is show lore. The village does not have a name. Everyone just calls it unnamed village.
That's sick as fuck.
Yeah.
Oh, that's kind of interesting that it's not even
Canonically
named.
named unnamed.
Yeah.
Yeah. On their way out, they run into Styx, who acts weird in a way she doesn't normally act weird. She not even like something's up. This just feels like an odd bit of writing. She just like calls the crowns that you get for upgrades princess crowns, and she tells you to find treasure.
She seems very young.
It feels like they weren't sure about what her character would be.
Yeah.
On the show, and we will eventually be watching the show, not necessarily all of it, but like fun episodes, highlight episodes, etc.
Mhm.
She's kind of like they saw the character, like they knew the character was supposed to be like a hermit, and decided Styx the Badgers is a conspiracy nut who lives off the grid.
Oh, Six the Badger likes QAnon.
Yes, absolutely. Styx the
Great.
Badger absolutely believes in QAnon.
Oh no.
Six the Badger does tweet "Stop the Steal."
I don't want to think about what a Sonic
Wait.
QAnon equivalent would be.
Actually, no, wait. Styx. I don't think Styx would believe in QAnon. She's more like a Dale Gribble in the sense that she doesn't trust anyone with any sort of authority.
Ah,
Yeah.
excellent.
You know what? Fair.
Good for her.
Yeah.
Because I was like, I also don't like being monitored. Let's be real.
I can trust a cartoon libertarian, but only a cartoon.
There's another side questy bit where Salty, the sea captain from before, just asks him to find his brother.
I
And
love how they're kind of like weirded out by him. Like, I don't know why. I'm just like, I feel like you should be used to people with weird shticks at this point. That's just Sonic staple having kind of character traits immediately evident on them.
I do love it because it gives me a chance to see Amy be nosy again, and everyone just kind of being annoyed by it. I love that Amy has no boundaries.
yeah.
True.
They do some puzzle platforming and get into the next area, Crater Lake. Also a speed section. So
Before we get
Yeah.
to Crater Lake, the speed session, I have to comment on some of the fantastic lines that happen during it. Sonic does say the line, "It's like these tracks were made for me." So, fantastic. And there is a section where he does hit, like, a random thing hanging over the track, and he does yell boom, and I just say that's the name of the game.
yeah.
Boom.
He does say it, Sonic say boom.
Booyah.
It says Sonic Boom Rise of Lyric Wii U 2013.
Later in the game where he sees Lyric flying over him over the water, he says, "Look, Lyric is rising."
What if Sonic said booyah? That's the kizzle dizzle.
Ooh.
Oh,
Sonic should say poggers.
Sonic should say poggers.
Sonic, say poggers.
What if he reclaimed it?
you would say that's totally Hoggers.
That's Hoggers!
Ooh.
That's Hoggers!
Poggers!
Okay.
Well, we did it. We can stop talking. We did it.
Podcast over.
Game over. We're all done. That's it.
Okay, so Crater Lake, it's a lake. There's like a mountain nearby that the rest of the level is in. The lake has these like rusty platforms. And we run into like these NPCs that I don't think I don't know what their deal is. They're just like weird squid people in mech suits.
Yeah, they rule.
Yeah. They're like very old. I assume they live here.
I was like, are they related to Lyric in some way? Because that's the only other, like, mech suit dude I know about in this game. But, like...
They slightly know about the crystals.
Yeah, they know about the crystals. Like, from what I gathered, like, they used to have it there, but they got tired of the shining light all the time, so they, like, threw it in, like, the cave that... The like, grotto nearby.
These jellyfish dudes remind me of, like... I feel like something I've seen in, like, some cartoon movie, like, a fish movie that's not Nemo, you know? That I can't put my finger
Oh,
on.
you mean, Shark Tale?
It might be.
The jellyfish from Shark Tale?
Yeah. I feel like that's...
Because that's what I immediately thought of.
Yeah, I feel like that's who they remind me of.
Sounds about right. I've never seen Shark Tale.
Don't.
What are you talking about? It has Will Smith in it. How could you not like it?
Yeah, you're right. It sure fucking does. What a weird movie.
The things I know about Shark Tale are that it has Will Smith as a fish. There's a shark that looks like every cop ever. And
there's a plot line where the shark's kid wants to be a dolphin because he doesn't want to eat meat. Which, newsflash, dolphins do eat meat.
Yeah.
Also, there was a car wash, because I remember all the commercials use the song Car Wash.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. Uh,
Yeah. Yeah.
After they finish their conversation, a ship Lyric has shows up and drops robots in the area for them to fight. What I found really weird about this is the I expected like the music to change. Like maybe it plays like
Yeah.
ominous or battle music, but it's just the same peaceful music. Even when they're fighting them.
Yeah.
That's what I'm talking about. This game feels so weird.
It's got weird vibes. Extremely strange vibes.
Listeners, we just had a bit of a interruption. I don't know if I'm going what I will and won't be editing out by the end of this, but we are picking back up where we left off. So they end up in a grotto. They do puzzle platforming, they fight robots, they get ambushed, they fight more robots, they win, they get the gem and go back to the hub. Can you still hear me?
Yes.
Yeah, we can hear you.
Okay, cool. Back in the hub, they run into Mayor Fink, and also the other person that seems to be living here. This character is actually from the show, but I don't remember her name. She's not like super important, but she has like a distinct name and design and like a personality. She's like one of a pair of twins, and they're both Valley girls. Like,
Doesn't she also not like the mayor?
probably.
No one likes the mayor. He's a politician.
Yeah.
But he does keep getting elected.
Well,
Dang.
they say
Politics.
art echoes life.
Politics, am I right?
Sometimes life echoes art. They head to like the outskirts, to farmlands and stuff. And there's like this farm boy NPC who tells them he would like to fight Lyric, but has to deal with the robots attacking his crops. So they get Knuckles to fight the robots. It goes into like an overhead view for this whole section, as like Knuckles just fights robots for a while. The farm boy thanks them, and he says he's gonna go join the resistance to fight against Lyric. Weird line.
Yeah, Lyric has been alive for about, like, I don't know, maybe 2 days?
Yeah. Also, there isn't anyone here.
Yeah, he hasn't actually really done anything either. This game
Yeah.
has just weird vibes. It wants me
Yeah.
it wants me to think things are happening, and I'm just like, where?
Yeah.
Nothing is happening. I'm kind of like weirded out because I'm like, I don't know, isn't the villain supposed to be doing something more in the background besides making like robots to attack you? Like, I don't know. Usually they're doing something else also.
Let's see. They continue through the farmland. They see Eggman and Lyric. And it's like they're talking about how they're gonna team up and like do something. And like Sonic says, like, hey, Lyric, and then runs away. And then they're just in a speed section that I don't know, it's just there. And then something actually relating to the plot happens. Tails has like a line during the speed section about how Lyric is how like Lyric doesn't understand the difference between nature and technology. It's really weird.
Yeah, they all have to get their lines in.
Yeah. Eventually we get to a point where it feels a bit more on track. Lyric and Eggman are like trying to attack them and take the gem. And like this speed section just like sort of shifts between Sonic and Tails and Knuckles and Amy as they're like passing the crystal back and forth. It's a little janky, but I'll accept this.
There are some genuinely good bits, like when it goes to Knuckles and Amy running away from like Eggman. Eggman does keep like trying to get Amy to pass like the gem to him. He keeps going like, "Hey, Amy, I'm free over here. Pass it to me." And she's just like, "Bro, I know it's you."
That's good. That's good. Eventually, we get a cutscene of like Eggman flying into Lyric, and they get away. They are now at Slowpoke Island.
I didn't see any slowpokes.
No, they're blocking the gate.
Oh.
And some character has a really messed up line. I think it's Knuckles where he says, "What if we just like hit them to make them move?"
Oh my god.
And I'm just like, those are people, dude.
Yeah. Like there's like gates to their like village or whatever that are blocked off, and they have to like fight robots to get let in.
Now I'm thinking about slowpokes that are like people. I know that's not what you meant, but now I'm thinking about like Sonic Anthro style slowpoke Pokemon. And it's good.
Slowpokes are people.
Slowpokes are people.
To me.
Yeah. I have looked up Slowpoke Sonic OC and didn't get much.
Dang.
Damn.
Cowards.
Gotta look for like Gajinka or something.
They go in. They run into that turtle from like before, who was talking about the vines and stuff. And he just like thanks them, and I guess this is what I think he gives them a rune or something. They do this more specific form of puzzle platforming where it's like they are trying to like get a huge horn to blow to like lower a gate. I just found myself thinking about like Vermintide 1, where like the first mission is you go and blow a big war horn so that everyone knows that things are in danger.
What game was this?
Vermintide. Warhammer the End Times Vermintide. It's really good. It's basically it's fantasy Left 4 Dead 2. You fight rats. It's more melee focused. Yeah.
Now that's what I'm talking about.
They blow the horn. And they go to the next section. We get a cutscene of Lyric and Eggman talking. Long and the short of it is, they are no longer an alliance. Eggman tries to get Metal Sonic to beat up Lyric, but Lyric has a thing in his armor that lets him control robots, so he just controls Metal Sonic and knocks away Eggman. I will say, Eggman, very fun, very quippy character. I like him.
Yeah.
I like how kind of just ineffective he is in this game.
Yeah.
Like, he's clearly still like a dangerous, like, mega maniacal dictator, but also he just seems to be doing this for the bit at this point.
Yeah, he definitely varies in like effectiveness between universes.
Like, he feels like he's just here to like have a fun time with Sonic, but his fun time with Sonic is trying to kill him.
Yeah. You know,
here for a fun
like,
time, not a long time.
Yeah. The rituals
like
are intricate.
Eggman's like whole deal in Boom is literally he's just a Saturday morning cartoon villain that sometimes gets into fights with Sonic, and the rest of the time he's just sort of chill.
And that's honestly the perfect level of Eggman.
There's this section they do in the game where they have to ride a riverboat while fighting off robots, but like every time the robots come, they have to beat them and the riverboat stops and they have to start it up again. It looks really tedious, and I'm not sure why they did it, because I don't even... Did they even get a gem? I think like what happened...
This area leads to an area where they get the gem. This is just like a weird in-between.
Yeah.
It's a terrible version of the Barge of Death from Hades.
Yeah, it's just bad Barge of Death.
I feel like this is like the time in Sonic games where they're like, oh, you expect this game to go fast? Well, here's like a slow, methodical section. I'm just like, nobody wants that.
Yeah.
That's not why you play Sonic.
Like
there's
that
no
is the exact.
Yeah. So what else am I thinking of? Oh, I guess I do find like a gem, but like Metal Sonic steals it or something.
It's like this whole thing where they get off the barge and Metal Sonic has like destroyed a village, and they're going through and they like enter a temple and like go through that, and they're like, damn, Metal Sonic is definitely here. And then Metal Sonic just like breaks through a wall in a totally different direction from where they entered. It just steals the gem and they're like, damn, we led him right to it. And I'm like, obviously not. He obviously just knew where to go.
Eventually they get back to the village, the Turtle Village, and it's been destroyed by Metal Sonic. Like they
We are not turtly enough for the Turtle Club.
They go to this place called Octagon Tower. They do a Simon Says puzzle. Oh, wait. Metal Sonic destroyed the village first.
Yeah.
Then they go to the temple. Then they do a Simon Says puzzle, and then Metal Sonic shows up and steals the crystal. And then, yeah. Okay. I was wondering what was up with my notes. Metal Sonic fires giant orbs at them, and they have to knock it back at him. This is a little bit like how boss fights work in a bunch of Sonic Unleashed, but not quite as polished. Which
Isn't
is
Unleashed an older game?
yeah, it's at least 5 years older than this game. I think exactly.
Like this game just feels like it's aged worse than like something even like it just feels so weirdly aged.
Yeah, at least I don't know, like
I feel like Sonic 6 is a worse game, but it's like it's like held up as bad game. Like, oh, you know this going in. Whereas like Sonic Boom is just nothing. You know?
Yeah.
It has like a vibe to it that you realize what you're getting into when you start it. Sonic Boom feels like you're just kind of there.
Yeah.
Like you don't know what's going on.
Yeah.
Yeah. It could have had boom potential.
Boom potential.
Yeah.
Okay, I just needed to check a thing real quick. Alright, so yeah, they do the boss fight and they beat Metal Sonic. That's where we leave for this section of Sonic Boom. I'm
waiting for the game where they become friends with Metal Sonic.
There's
that's nice.
I guess that would be
they become friends with like Shadow and shit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Speaking of which, where is Shadow right now? Remember when he got thrown through a portal?
Yeah, he does. I don't think he shows up until the end of the game.
What is he doing?
I think he got thrown in a time warp, and he's just gonna show up. He got teleported to the end of the game.
This is where you insert your if you want to play Shadow in like interstitial, you can say that he teleported to a new world from Sonic Boom.
Yeah.
He just comes out of the portal at the end of the game, and Sonic's like, "Where have you been?" And he's like, "Oh, during interstitial. Don't worry about it.
Yeah.
Don't worry about it.
So,
It doesn't concern you."
yeah. So to note going forward, we're going to do we're going to use this uncommented playthrough like for the rest of this game, and there will be like 2 more episodes on Sonic Boom Rise of Lyric going forward. Or did I say videos? Did I say videos or episodes? I don't know.
I mean,
whatever.
we knew what you meant.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Podcast
yeah.
episodes. I think you said episodes.
Okay. Yeah, so there's like two things left. After that we'll probably either talk about the DS game that came out at the same time or the first season of the cartoon. One of those. You know what? Probably the cartoon. That's probably more interesting. Okay, so let's read some questions. If you want to send in a question, you can respond to our Twitter posts on @ShuffleSonic, or you can ask a question anytime at your leisure in the Ask Zone channel on our Discord, which can be found in the show notes of every episode, as well as our Discord, or Twitter. So, I did send out the Ask post on very short notice, but thankfully we were able to get some questions. First, our single Twitter question. PR the Disaster asks, what would be the coolest metal for the evil metal version of you to be made of? Bonus, add an unnecessary function for a robot you to have, like a built-in hairdryer or whatever.
Ooh. The coolest metal?
I keep thinking of that metal. I don't think you can make something out of it, but that metal that you can use a magnet to pull out a liquid. I forget what it's called. Where it's all spiky if you let me look it up. Someone else can answer while I'm looking it up.
Okay.
This yeah, you can go first, sorry.
Yeah, I'm thinking just Damascus steel. Just a fancy, obscure, impossible to make again metal.
Hell yeah.
Ooh. Oh, I was talking about ferrofluid.
Oh, okay.
If that counts.
I don't know if this fully counts, but I love the idea of my metal version just kind of being made of mercury, so that it's just kind of liquid at all times, and it can change its form.
All right. Yeah.
Oh, we both want to be liquid.
I just want to be a little bit goo monster.
Cool.
An unnecessary thing would just be being able to make a switch come out of my stomach or something, or my robot stomach.
I would definitely have a microwave so I can make popcorn at random times, even though I'm a robot.
You also have tasters for no reason, just so you can
yeah, I have taste buds so I can menacingly chew some popcorn at you.
I'm gonna go with fog machine and or vape rig.
Yo. You have your own mood setting every time you go somewhere.
I make my dramatic entrance. I come out from the fog, and is that a hint of birthday cake?
I smell
menacing lavender
I smell
scent.
cotton candy. It can't be.
That's it for our Twitter questions, so let's move on to Discord. James the Cat Girl asks, does Sonic Boom take place in one of the bad timelines the Sonic games have, and Sonic has to avoid it to get the good ending? It's a little oddly phrased, but I get what you're saying. Like, is this a bad end universe?
This is obviously the bad end universe because it's not the Ken Penter weird comic.
It's just like apocalypse, end of the world. I feel like you can't make like a timeline thing like you can with like Zelda games. I feel like Sonic games are like their own distinct. I might be wrong.
I do
but
feel like this
that's
is a
fair.
bad end, mostly because of the idea that nobody lives in this world.
Yeah.
There's like 5 people.
I know. Yeah. I feel like this is like the bad end of the show timeline.
Which show? The
Like,
the Boom show?
Yeah, the Boom show.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's interesting.
So, our lastly, Jasmine Sidmon, friend of the show, asks a couple questions. So I'll just let's go by these one by one. Do they mix the teams up ever, or is it always Sonic and Tails or Amy and Knuckles? I'll just say now they do switch it up. There was the last time we talked about Boom, it was like the other way. It was like a Sonic and Knuckles section.
Yeah.
If you designed a game's boss fights around a theme, what would the Eggman fights be? And what would the non-Eggman fights be?
I don't know what. Well, I don't know what my game's boss fight themes would be. I would have to think about that. Like,
Are we talking about like how
Interesting.
the boss fights are like fought, or is it like what the theme music would be?
I think it's like how the boss fights would be.
yeah, that's what I assume. That's how I read it too. Like, not the music theme, but like,
Yeah. Well, obviously, Eggman should get a funny, different robot every time he sees you.
oh yeah,
Yeah.
Just like the old games, like a funny, different, weird robot that means nothing. And then,
but like they kind of relate to the world. So like, you know,
yeah,
the water one or like the ice one froze you. The fucking that's the only one I can think of. I know there's others, but I know that one froze you.
this one feels kind of like obvious and like not creative, but it should be like any of the Sonic clones every other time.
Yeah, that
Like
sounds
Shadow
good.
should just appear, because I do like the idea of Shadow just popping out of nowhere and being like, "Fight me," and Sonic being like, "This again?"
That does sound good.
Like Shadow.
Maybe like it's like just like different characters that have been rivals to Sonic. Like maybe
Ooh.
one fight Knuckles, one time you fight Shadow, one time you fight like I don't know Silver or Jet the Hawk if you're reaching,
Yeah, just
One time
like
you fight Metal Sonic.
or Metal Sonic.
yeah, it's just like they just pop out of nowhere. They have no connection to the video game, kind of like Shadow in this game. Like they just show up and they're like, "Fight me," and
Mhm.
Sonic's like, "Why are you here?"
What if you had different like bosses that were like the different Pokemon types?
Ooh, yeah.
And they all have
Mm.
like all the robots have like or like if they're Eggman robots, they have like different type.
What if the Chaos
energies
Emeralds
with the
actually had
robots.
bosses guarding them,
Ooh, that'd be
That would
cool.
be
like
interesting.
Temple
Yeah.
Guardians?
Yeah. Okay.
I don't know how like a fairy robot would work. I'd have to
Hmm.
think about that.
I mean, it would look sick as hell. Is the thing.
Yeah, I would.
Right. So, our last question is: would Boom Amy do well in politics?
Mm.
I think she's gay and she wouldn't want to.
I think she would really shake things up. I think she would drain the swamp. She would be the disturber that we need to really make things start moving in politics again. She would vote no on the higher minimum wage, though.
Fuck.
Mhm.
Fuck.
Amy would walk in and do a funny little thumbs down. You know I love her,
Yeah.
but
Funny.
I'm thinking,
Amy's canceled.
yeah.
we gotta cancel
I
Amy.
shouldn't be making jokes about that. But I'm just like, God damn it.
I think about that video once a
I
day
don't-
now, so I'm so sorry.
I hate thinking about the $15 an hour.
I'm
Right.
just thinking about like the sitcom-y nature of the show, and like, she's Leslie Knope. She's Leslie Knope.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, she's definitely Leslie Knope.
Yeah, I can see that.
Okay.
She would get involved in corruption immediately, though.
Mhm.
Yeah. So that answers our questions. And normally, I would be rolling a die for next week, but I want to do something special. So,
Ooh.
to the very first episode of the Sonic Shuffle came out on like the last week of March or the like second week of April. So I just want to like, for the last week of March, we just like select what the continuity is.
Ooh.
Uh,
Oh.
I just want to make sure my math isn't off. Okay, that would be this week, so it would be that week. Yep, okay. So, just to remind you, in our like mod chat, we've got in the pins a list of all the continuities.
Wait, would it be next week or the week after? Because the week after is the 25th.
It would be coming out the week
Yeah.
after, but
Oh,
I think
yeah,
we're
that
recording
makes
it next
sense.
week.
Duh.
Yeah.
So, I want you to decide what we talk about next week.
Oh,
Huh.
I don't know.
This one's difficult. Because I'm worried about, like, picking, like, a funny meme option and then it just being like, well, this was a game or this is, like, a weird comic. And it not being special.
Yeah.
But,
What well, here's a question. What would our next modern game be?
Let's see. Well, we've only covered like the start of Sonic Adventure 1.
Okay,
So
so
the
it'd be
next
the rest of Sonic Adventure 1. It'd be
Yeah.
more. Okay.
Yeah. So yeah, we could talk about the rest of Sonic Story and Sonic Adventure 1. The Sonic and Knuckles half of Sonic 3 and Knuckles. Some more American comics. Some more UK comics. And I believe we would be covering like the first two-parter and maybe some other stuff. We could watch some Adventures of Sonic the Hedgehog.
I feel like we
Uh,
did that kind of recently.
Yeah.
yeah.
We could watch episodes, I guess, pilot and episode 3 of Set AM.
Mhm.
We could watch 2 more episodes of Underground, 2 more episodes of Sonic X, more Sonic Boom, or our miscellaneous section, which in this case would be like probably Mario and Sonic at the Winter Olympic Games for the Nintendo DS.
That one's very interesting. Wait, what's this UK Choose Your Own Adventure game?
Oh, right. That was something I wanted to do. That's kind of scrapped because so there used to be like these so in the early 90s there were like choose your own adventure books for Sonic the Hedgehog that only ever came out in the UK. I wanted to like get like a PDF and we could like play through it, but
Mhm.
it turns out there aren't any scans available, and most of the physical copies would be very expensive and probably take like a month or two to get to my apartment.
Okay.
Huh.
I would be interested maybe in doing, even though it is just kind of a one-off sort of thing, doing maybe the miscellaneous.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, the miscellaneous sounds fun.
Okay.
Or unless you wanted to do like the movie for that.
I'd be willing to do the movie for it.
Actually, yeah.
I feel like that kind of makes sense since like even though I've seen it before, it's like kind of just maybe not the most recent, but it's like the most recent Sonic thing I can think of at the
Yeah,
moment. So I think it would be interesting to do as like our anniversary thing.
Sure. All right. We'll talk about Sonic the Hedgehog 2020 next week. It is a movie that is now just a little over a year old. Came out on Valentine's Day of 2020. The last great movie to ever come out. Yeah, we'll talk about that next week. Look forward to it.
Oh yeah.
All right. So, let's take it to a close. Start. I'm Dan. You can find me at a lot of places, and you can find all those places at linktr.ee/Mike_Dawson with a 0. From there, you can wait. Fuck? I meant to say. Let me just cut that out. Yeah.
Oh yeah, you rebranded. I forgot about that.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
You can find me at a lot of places, and you can find all those places at linktr.ee/big_challenges. From there, you can find my Twitter, which is at Bigger Challenge. You can follow the other podcasts I do, which are Pod of Breed, a Yu-Gi-Oh podcast. We are making our way through the second arc of season 1, and the last episode we recorded is really good. You will be able to hear more about the wonderful Ojamas next time.
Pajama.
Ojama.
Yeah. You can listen to Stranger's Fiction, an actual play podcast focused on one-shots. The latest episode, which I GM'd, was a session of Interstitial, where...
Ooh, speaking of interstitial.
Yeah. For what I remember, the players went on an adventure in Stardew Valley, which was being attacked by Dr. Eggman, but the true villain was the envoy of the darkness, Eric Sparrow.
Great.
Who?
Fantastic.
From Tony Hawk's Underground.
Oh,
Fantastic.
Yeah.
incredible stuff.
Okay.
Wonderful play.
Yeah. And last but not least, you can visit at Xbox_holiday, where Usher celebrates holidays with Xbox. This will have definitely already passed by the time you hear this, but happy St. Patrick's Day, Xbox.
Ooh.
Happy St. Patty's Day, Xbox.
Alright. Morg, where can we find you?
You can find me at Haunting the Morg on Twitter. That's haunting the MORG. From there, you will be able to find my... Oh, it's raining, so it's very loud. You will find me in the rainstorm. You'll be able to find my other podcast, Departure Lounge, a plane-themed Hunter x Hunter podcast, where I go through the show for the first time. I don't know why I keep thinking there's more, but I'm like, nope, that's it. That's it for me for now.
That's all I got.
Sometimes I guessed on other things, but not recently. Devon, where can we find you?
You can find me at Groovin Ghastly at twitter.com, and then you can find me also on a Hunter x Hunter podcast called Go Will Hunting. The theme for our podcast is increasingly turned out to be we just go off on random tangents where we just assign characters different weird things, like personas or Digimon partners or what their most embarrassing memory is.
Fuck
So,
yes.
you know, that's just what we got going for us, just pure chaos energy.
I'm gonna ask you what their personas is off, like personas are.
We're doing the Phantom Troop right now, and it's truly just a blessing. Keith is really pulling it through.
Fuck yeah.
Cool.
And that's all I got.
All right. And you can find us at Shuffle Sonic on Twitter. And from there and our show notes, you can find our Discord. And you can also find us at noisepace.xyz. For you Americans, that's a Z. It's
Us Americans, I believe all three of us
yeah.
are actually American.
For you silly Americans, including us.
Let's see. So this week on our alphabetical highlight list, we are highlighting Fantastic Satisfaction, an actual play podcast. Originally, it was like D&D or something.
Yeah,
And-
I think they moved to like
Yeah,
Dungeon World for their
Yeah.
second season.
yeah, they're doing a second season in Dungeon World.
Man, that was one
it-
of the first noise space podcasts.
Yeah.
Legends only.
Good shit.
Yeah. Looks like the latest episode went up month and change ago. And go listen to that if you're curious. And as always, Sonic is real, he is strong, and he is my friend.
He's the only blue live that matters.
The only one.
These fucking jellyfish keep staring at me.
I fucking love those jellyfish. I'm gonna watch Fish Tales after this. Shark Tale, whatever. Shark Tale after this.
Good night.
Good night, everyone.